because I think the message and the theme here is that it's time for us to get our shit together. And if we don't, this full moon is going to rock us. Hello, my Astro fam. We are diving in today with the full moon in Capricorn. And this full moon in Capricorn is giving us such a clear message. There is just so much energy in the sky around the time of this full moon, the other life coach planets guiding us, giving us hints on how to move forward. So I really want to focus today on the lesson, on the energy, what you might be feeling, what you might be experiencing, how to navigate through it, and how we're going to move through not only this lunation, but the entire month of July, which is a little bit of a wild one. So with that being said, I am still going to do my traditional new and full moon rituals at the end of this video. So you have some tools and tangible things you can put on your calendar around this full moon to navigate the energy. So let's go ahead and jump right in. First of all, the basics. This is a full moon happening in the zodiac energy of Capricorn. And my favorite part about this full moon, and I think it's probably the only thing that I truly love about this full moon, is the fact that it's an 11-11 portal, meaning the sun is in the zodiac energy of Cancer at 11 degrees and the moon directly opposite in the sky in the zodiac energy of Capricorn, also at 11 degrees. So if we pull that up here on the chart, we can see here the 11-11 portal. You know, when we're talking about 11-11, it is an angel number. It is a message from the divine that this is a portal for us to step into, that our dreams and our wishes and we're being heard and all that we want and desire is possible. But this moon in Capricorn is reminding us that we have to do the work. We have to be responsible. We have to step into our own inner authority, our own tough love dad energy, because Saturn is the ruler of this full moon. And if we can take accountability and we can create structure and routine and discipline and get working on that to-do list, this 11-11 portal will stay open for us to manifest our dreams, to anchor them into our reality, and to move forward, not only just in 2023, but for the next 30-year chapter of our life. It is happening on July 3rd. Yes, right before the 4th of July. And again, we're going to dive into it in this video, but there is so much cosmically happening with all the other life coach planets at the time of this full moon, playing into this energy, leading up to the 3rd and the 4th of July, and literally playing out for the rest of the month. This is a heavy hitting month, a life altering month if we're not on track and not being responsible. So this full moon in Capricorn is exact on July 3rd at 7:38 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Again, the sun at 11 degrees and the moon at 11 degrees. So pay attention as we move into the actual 4th of July. What is going on energetically for you? And let's go ahead and set this up. Backtracking to what is the energy of Capricorn. Whenever we have a full moon, we want to look to see what zodiac sign the moon is in, because that moon is either full or new. When it's a new moon, it's empty, it's dark, it's hollow, and we can fill that space with the new moon with our intentions and our manifestations and our desires and the direction that we're moving. When it's a full moon and that moon is bright and illuminating the night sky, it is a peak. It is the highlight. It is allowing us to see so clearly to an area of the sky that we don't always get the full energetic picture of. This being a full moon in the energy of Capricorn, we are getting an illumination, a peak, the most of the most energy that we can get in this area of our life. So if you have your birth chart, go ahead, pull it up. If you know what house Capricorn rules for you, this is going to be your area of life that you're going to see some things very clearly, very brightly, and you're going to be able to move forward with the information you're going to get around this time. Also, if you have your 2023 Astrology Retrograde Journal, you can open it up to page 52. That is the full moon in Capricorn page. You have your journal prompts to fill out, a new moon ritual in here, the crystals, the herbs, and the chakras that you can use around the time of this full moon to maximize this energy. So Capricorn, what is this energy of Capricorn? Anytime we have planets rolling in and out of this part of the sky, this zodiac energy, we are dealing with the goat. It is an earth energy. It is a cardinal earth, meaning we are going to make decisions. We are going to move forward. We are going to start climbing to the top of the mountain of our goals, of our long-term goals specifically. And when we start climbing up that mountain, we know there's going to be obstacles. We know there's going to be challenges. It's not going to be easy breezy, smooth sailing all the way to the top, right? Think of the energy of the goat. It goes up the mountain, it comes across an obstacle, it comes back down a little bit and goes up again on the other side of the mountain. And it might take a while, but eventually it will reach the apex. And so when we're dealing with Capricorn energy, we are thinking in our life, what do we want for the long haul? What are we committed, right? What are we determined to accomplish? What are we willing to go through obstacles for? Because the reward is so sweet and it's so sustainable after we've built a strong, solid foundation step by step to the top of the mountain. Now, also when we're dealing with the Capricorn energy, it is the goat. G.O.A.T, greatest of all time. Because Capricorn does not settle. It is high achieving. It is high succeeding. It is knowing that all is possible if I just put in the work. Being an earth energy, it is our tangible, physical reality. What do I need to do today to get to where I want to be down the road? No quick, fulfillment, no instant gratification. It's like strong, stable, steady, do the work. So when we're rolling through this full moon in Capricorn, remember, the moon is bright in the sky. It's illuminating this area, saying, how are your goals? Let's look at them. Let's look at them under a full moon microscope. What does it look like? Are you achieving the things? Are you managing the things? Are you handling the things? Are you being responsible? Do you have discipline? Do you have commitment? Do you have structure? As I say all these things, you're like, wait a second, isn't that Saturn's energy? Yes. Saturn is the landlord of Capricorn. He is the ruling planet of Capricorn. He owns this part of the sky. And so when I'm saying all this, yes, this is all Saturn's influence. And so this full moon is asking you to take a pause and to reflect on those long-term goals that you probably set around the new year back in January. Because every time we have a full moon in Capricorn, remember from our chart, the sun is in Cancer. That means the sun has moved halfway through the sky since we set our New Year's goals on January 1st. So every time we have a full moon in Capricorn, it is halfway through the year from our New Year's resolutions. So what energy were you bringing into 2023? On January 1st, 2023 was here. What goals did you have? What dreams did you set? What visions, were you working towards? How are you doing? This is the time to review. This is the time to reflect. It's the full moon. Let's look at it brightly. Is your to-do list, getting smaller? Are you managing the things you need to manage? Are you being accountable for the dreams that you set? Or are you kind of, giving up? Or are you being a little lazy? This is the full moon that's going to allow you to reflect and get back on track. So that happens every year. Every year during a full moon in Capricorn, we're embracing the succeeding, achieving, working hard, anchoring our manifestations into reality step by step for the long term, while the sun is in Cancer, directly opposite in the sky. So wherever the sun is the sun season, the month of the astrological year that we're embracing. And when the sun is in the energy of Cancer, it is a season of reflection, of going inwards. It's a water energy. So sun season, we are being a little nostalgic. We're wanting to hermit. We're wanting to feel and be emotional. We're reflecting. We're following our intuition. We're kind of asking ourselves, what do I want? What feels safe? What feels comfortable? And then this full moon rolls around and it's like, okay, if you want all these things, if you want safety, if you want comfort, if you want stability, if you want security, then we're going to have to do the work to make that happen. And that's probably what your goals were related to when we moved into January 1st of 2023. So that's kind of the overlying energy of a full moon in Capricorn. Every time that we have one, we then add in the element that it's a full moon. So we're releasing, we're letting go, we're changing course, we're redirecting, we're seeing things clearly, we're allowing where we're at right now to kind of be the culmination and the apex point. And from here on forward, we're going to release and cut things out. This is a full moon that's very critical to looking at what habits, what things are blocking you from succeeding your long-term goals. You'll see here in the astrology journal I wrote, I always put the full moon in Capricorn ritual as doing some course correcting as far as your daily routines. What is blocking you from achieving that goal? You want to make X amount of dollars? Well, watching Netflix and sleeping in isn't going to cut it, right? Or if you want to play with your kids, or maybe you want to have another child, well, maybe you need to cut out some unhealthy habits or routines, like not eating properly, not taking your supplements, not having the energy you need to fulfill this life that you want with your children or having children. So this is really about what habits and routines do I need to get rid of so I can get back on track with my long-term goal and my long-term vision. Okay, that's the overlying energy. Now let's add in back to the fact that this is an 1111 portal. So our dreams, our wishes, our manifestations, it's all possible. It's all right here in front of us, but we also have to work for it. Dreaming and wishing and hoping is not enough. We have to use this Capricorn Earth energy. Saturn is Lord Karma, the ruler of this full moon. He is Lord Karma. He will bless you or punish you depending on the work, depending on your own accountability, your own ability to be your own tough love dad and do the damn thing you need to do. Lots of energy around that. Now, like I mentioned, this full moon is in the middle of a very critical cracking point in our cosmic energy. July is a very momentous month of destruction and recognizing what doesn't work. It is a critical period of time. I will talk about that in the July astro forecast, but just know around the time of this full moon, it is potent, it is palpable. And if we don't get on track with cutting things away and releasing and getting back on track, zoning in on our goals, the other energy, the other chaos, not only in our life, but in the consciousness of the world can distract us, can get us way off track. So just be very careful. There's going to be a lot going on in the world, financially, societally, government, institute. There is going to be a lot going on outside. And I need you to stay inside in your own 1111 portal, in your own dreams, in your own goals, and stay in your lane and get rid of the things that are distracting. Watching the news this month may be very distracting for you. There might be a lot of headlines, a lot of turmoil, a lot going on, and you're going to be stuck and glued to the news and the drama and all the changes that it takes away from your energy to focus on your own goals. So keep that in mind. It's going to be very, very important this month. Stay in your lane, focus on your own goals, put your energy towards what you want to create in your life. The rest is all going to play out whether you watch it or not, okay? Okay, so with that being said, that is the overlying theme. Let's go ahead and break down the specifics of what is going on in the sky leading up to this full moon. So as we're going into July, you're already going to be feeling it. And then it's going to play out, like I said, the rest of the month. So pulling back up the chart here, let's find the sun, 11 degrees of Cancer, the moon directly across at 11 degrees of Capricorn. And you can see here that the sun has a visitor. The sun has a helper. The sun has Mercury side by side. On July 1st, just 2 days before this full moon, we had a Sun-Mercury cazimi. And if you follow my retrograde videos, you know that we have a Sun-Mercury cazimi every time there is a retrograde because Mercury backs up in retrograde motion and runs into the sun. Now, in mythology, Mercury was the messenger. Remember, he had the wings and he'd fly around and spread information, and he was always told by his father, do not fly too close to the sun or you will burn and die. And so this happens cosmically in our astrology in the sky very often, a couple times a year. And so right now, Mercury is moving forward and the sun is moving forward and they're running into each other, and on July 1st. And so at the time of this full moon, 2 days later, they are still in each other's energy. Mercury is our mind. It's the way we're thinking. It's the way that we're speaking. And you get the sun, the heat of the sun involved, the intensity of the sun involved with our mind. This is like a brain on fire, mind on fire. You are like, oh my God, I can't believe every thought, every word, every communication is filled with this fire and heat and intensity. And you can be really passionate about what you're saying, but you also could gather information. And now your mind is like, think of like when a car is doing like a burnout and like the wheels are like smoking. That is the energy that might be going on in your brain as you're finding out information. Because remember, the full moon is bright. It is seeing things that you don't normally see. So you might be seeing things, gathering new information, seeing things clearly, and now your mind is on fire. What do I do about this? What else do I need to know about this? Who do I need to talk to? Be very cautious and very careful at this time because that can be influencing how you're going to move forward. So just recognize Sun, Mercury, Cazimi. That means Mercury is opposite the moon, Mercury being our mind, the moon being our emotions. Our mind's over here, our emotions are over here. And sometimes that can be your head and your heart are like, well, I want to do this, but my emotions are telling me I don't want to do that. Or maybe my emotions, my gut feeling is to run, but my mind is telling me, no, get more information. So be careful. Your intuition and your information in your mind might also be very different at this time. Honor it. Again, there's going to be a lot going on the rest of the month. So this isn't necessarily a time that we need to act or do something about it. We just need to be aware. Always bringing it back to your goals. What do you want to succeed? Where are you off track? Where did you start something and maybe have fallen back? Where do you need to take accountability and responsibility in your life for the intentions that you set at the beginning of the year? Okay, so after we look at the sun and the moon, we always go to, you know it, the ruler of the moon. And the ruler of the moon, since the moon is in Capricorn, is Saturn. So where is Saturn? Well, Saturn just went retrograde. Saturn is in the zodiac energy of Pisces, right? We talked a lot about this. I have a full video on Saturn through Pisces, his 3-year journey. And Saturn is now officially retrograde, on his way back to the beginning. At the time of this full moon, he's at 7 degrees. He just turned around. He only went to 7 degrees of Pisces, and now by November, he will be back to 0, back to the beginning. So what does that mean at the time of this full moon? Well, Saturn's like, I'm going back, right? I'm going to go review. Let's go back to the beginning of March, where again, we probably were on a roll with our goals. We started in January, new year, new me, going to accomplish this, going to make this much money, going to da-da-da-da-da, whatever. We got to March and there was all this energy in March. Remember, the astrological new year was popping off and we were making progress and we were excited and we're doing the things because we're reaping the rewards and we're seeing the, outcome very quickly. I changed jobs. Boom, I got a raise. I got more money. Now I'm going to go buy this. Boom, I changed my diet routine and now I'm losing weight. Great, moving forward. But now we're sitting here in July and we've slumped off and we're having to go back to March, go back to January, right? Saturn retrograde. What does Saturn retrograde do? He's Lord Karma. So now he's going to back up. And in the space he backs up, we have to step in. We have to be our own Saturn. We have to be our own tough love dad. We have to put in the work because there's no outside pressure. Saturn is like going to the doctor and the doctor is like, yo, your blood pressure is really high. You need to make a change. That's Saturn. But what happens when there's no doctor and we don't go to our appointment? We have to be our own doctor. We have to be our own advocate. That is the journey from Saturn's retrograde beginning in June, not ending till November. We now have to do the work. No one's going to tell us to do the work. There is going to be no pressure on us to do the work. We need to sit down and look at that to-do list and handle our responsibilities if we want to step into this 11-11 portal, if we want to move forward, and we can't be distracted by the world. So we see here Saturn retrograde in Pisces. Now, remember, Pisces is the space where Saturn is hanging out for 3 years of our energetic body, of things behind the scenes that exist, but we don't see them. And sometimes we don't pay attention to them, but they help us or hinder us from accomplishing our goal. So that is our mental health, our belief systems, our subconscious thought patterns, our tendency to play the victim or want to escape our reality or sabotage our reality, sabotage our goals and dreams because we don't feel like we're worthy. It also deals with our energetic body, our auras and our chakras and our energetic field and the past life people. That could be past lifetime literally, or it could be like maybe 10 years ago you were married to someone and energetically you're still connected, or maybe in a past life in this lifetime you lived somewhere else and you're still connected to the drama that is going on in a place that you no longer even live, right? What ties energetically do you still have from the past that you need to cut? Most specifically before 2020, but it could be recent. And where is your energetic body not being honored, right? Are you cleansing your chakras? Are you protecting your energetic boundaries when you walk into a room and people want to dump on you? Are you protecting your mental health? Are you working through this? This is an amazing time to start getting into therapy or to working with people around your belief systems and your limiting belief systems and your tendency to want to run and hide and escape when things get hard. This is where we're being called to. When you hit a roadblock, right? When you're trying to climb up that mountain like the goat and you hit a roadblock, does your mind take over? Are you sabotaging yourself? Are you saying, forget this, I'm done. I'm going to go drink. I'm going to go gamble. I'm going to go escape, and I'm not going to work on my dreams and my goals. So important around this time. So that's a lot already. Now, I do want to bring up, however, Pluto. What Pluto is up to in the sky this month is massive. And this is going to affect us more on a collective and a society level, especially within the United States, because we are getting into that critical Pluto return, final destruction, final breakdown energy. But like I said before, that can be a distraction in our own life. Now, remember, Pluto is the planet of the underworld, god of the underworld, and he loves to destroy, to decay, to purge, to detox, because we got to get rid of it. We got to pull out the root system, the rotting, debris, and clear it out, clean it out. You can't plant fresh flowers in a flower pot that has dead roots or bacteria from an old plant. Right? We got to clean out the pot, get rid of the dead roots, make it beautiful, and then plant the new flowers. And this month, Pluto is back in the energy of Capricorn, 29 degrees. Anytime a planet's at 29, we know that is a critical degree point where that planet goes into full power mode. And Pluto has been in Capricorn for a long time, but he gave us a little taste, a little flavor, a little preview from March until now of what is to come the next 15-year chapter. But he's back in Capricorn. So what does that mean for us? Capricorn rules institutions, governments, things that have structure, things that are ruled by authority and people in power. So there is going to be Pluto's last final destruction and crumble. He's like, I'm going back. There is some unfinished business. I'm going back to Capricorn, and I'm going to do my final blow up and destruction. And so in the world around us, this can be all the systems, especially in the United States. Remember, we're going through a Pluto return. Only countries go through Pluto returns because humans don't live 250 years. And this is the first Pluto return that the United States has experienced. So it's time for an overhaul, a time for a reboot from the ground up. And so what could be crumbling around us is all things that have structure. Financial systems, healthcare systems, school systems, all these pieces of society that we have acknowledged need a good overhaul, and Pluto's going to go back over and do it once and for all. Now, Pluto will stay in Capricorn until next year, so this will play out, like I said, through the rest of the year. Now, there's a lot of stuff going on for the rest of the month, other planets that are going to be in opposition to Pluto, in squares to Pluto, hard aspects, challenges, just a lot of critical kind of tearing down energy. So around the time of this full moon, as we are working on our goals and we are figuring out how we're on track, how we're not on track, what do we need to do, be our own tough love dads, step into our responsibility, step into our authority, create boundaries, have new commitments, review, we're also going to have some things crumbling around us that's going to influence us, how we're going to manage ourselves, how we're going to get back on track. So just, again, this energy is intense. It's in our face, and it's just going to be a lot of shifting through the month with Pluto being involved. So I just want to bring that up. Not super directly impacting the full moon, but all the life coach planets are kind of being under this Pluto influence. It's a big one in the sky. And then lastly, I do want to touch really quick on the lovers of the zodiac, Venus and Mars. We can see here around the time of the full moon, they are very close together in the sky. This is the closest they're going to be, with Venus being at 22 degrees, Mars at 25 degrees of Leo, as Venus is about to do her retrograde. So as a relational astrologer, I made a whole video on Venus being in the energy of Leo, something we're going to feel for June, July, August, and in through the end of September. Big energy for us to deal with. Now, Venus rules over what we love, who we love, rules over our money, our material possessions, the things that we value, the things that we hold dear. And when we have a Venus retrograde, which doesn't happen very often, she's the planet that retrogrades the least, because we do not like to have to go back over and remove things from our life that we loved or once loved. And so Venus retrogrades can be a little challenging. And the fact that Mars is involved, right? Mars is making decisions and taking action. Right now, we could want to run forward. We could want to make decisions in a part of our life. I suggest we wait it out. This comes down to relationships, financial investments, major purchases, anything that has to do with your physical body, surgeries, whether they're elective or cosmetic, anything that is going to be changing your physical body, your financial stability, and your relationship status. Because Venus is going to do this massive retrograde. She is going to have squares to Uranus, squares to Jupiter. Mars just got done with a square to Jupiter. We got the nodes involved. We got Pluto involved. We got Saturn retrograde. I mean, there is just a lot of energetic twists and turns yet to come by the time we get to September. So just be careful with the Venus stuff going on. Around the time of this full moon, as all the energy that we just talked about exists in the sky, at the same exact time, Venus is in her square to Uranus. This went exact on July 2nd. So it is in full steam, full highlight around the time of this full moon. So while we're recognizing things, our mind is on fire. We're having to get back on track with our goals. We're realizing that we're behind. We're not being committed. We're checking in with our mental health. Why are we sabotaging ourselves? Why can't I commit to this? Do I still want it? Venus in a square to Uranus is like sudden. It's a wild card energy. It's shocking information regarding a relationship or our money. There could be massive disruptions to the financial market, to our own personal financial status. There could be changes or upsets within relationships, whether that's information, whether that's someone breaking up with you, whether that's finding out something. There is a lot that has to do with Venus, relationships, money, our physical body, our material possessions, anything that you value in your life, getting a sudden, shocking, jolting upset from Uranus at this time. And then we have our mind on fire with the sun from all this information that we've gathered. We're getting this illumination and seeing, oh my God, I haven't been focusing on my goals because of this drama, because of this, because of my self-sabotage, because X, Y, and Z, you fill in the blank for your life. And now I'm having to do something about it. And Pluto is like, well, let's just destroy it all. Let's crumble it all. Let's burn it down and start over. We don't want to have to do that. So just move through this energy, really honor it. Like I said, the rest of the month, there is a lot. So I'll make a separate video for July's forecast, July's overview. Make sure you listen to that. I'm not going to get super technical in that video because, again, it's a lot. And so I just want you to get the theme, and I want you to understand why you might be feeling what you're feeling around the time of this full moon. That is my goal as a relational astrologer, is to help you have a better relationship with yourself, because you're understanding why you might be feeling this way, and you can work with this energy and navigate it. So make sure you check out my other videos if you're needing more assistance with this. My readings are currently closed until August 18th, as I'm going to be on vacation and I'm honoring my own birth chart and how it's being affected by the current astrology. But in the meantime, you can go back over the videos I have on this channel talking about Jupiter in Taurus, Saturn in the energy of Pisces, the July forecast overview, and any other video that you find might be supportive to understand what's going on in the cosmos around this time. So with all that, I'm going to give you 3 activities that you can do around the time of this full moon that's going to help guide you and navigate you through this energy. Make sure you add them to the 3 days before to the 3 days after the full moon. That's how long we can feel this energy. So from the 1st of July all the way to the 6th of July, incorporate these activities. It's going to help you move forward. So the first thing I would do is get out that list, get out that to-do list that you started at the beginning of the year and go through it one by one and get really honest with yourself. Why haven't you accomplished it? What is holding you back? Is there something in your life you need to cut out? Is there some more information you need to gather? Is there a limiting belief that you're holding? What is holding you back? And what can you do to get back on track and make that new list? Step 1, step 2, step 3. Capricorn loves a good list. They love some physical, tangible to-dos. So figure out, take some time to reflect on that. It would be so beneficial. The second thing I would do around this full moon in Capricorn is to commit to one new routine in your life. One, just one. Don't overwhelm yourself. Don't try to do a whole morning routine. One thing you want to implement in your life that's going to help you move forward. It doesn't have to be career related. It doesn't have to be health related. It could just be anything in your life that you know you need to add in for your overall well-being, and start that around the time of this full moon. And then the third and final thing is to start preparing for this Venus retrograde by reviewing your relationships, right? You're going to see things very clearly under this full moon. And we have one more new moon, one more lunation before Venus's retrograde begins. And that's the new moon in Cancer. And that one is a critical one. Pluto is like the main character in that one. Mars is going to be a main character in that one. There is a lot of Mars, warrior, fighter, Pluto, destroying, crumbling, and new moons, new beginnings. And then we have the nodes of destiny shifting. And then we have Venus going retrograde, and it's all within 5 days. That's in the middle of the month. And so what you can do around the time of this full moon, as you're seeing things clearer, before shit really hits the fan, review your relationships. Review, assess them, categorize them, figure out your boundaries. Just start paying attention to the relationships in your life and what might need adjustments, because Venus retrograde is going to go do a sweep in motion and helping you reevaluate and reprioritize who brings you joy, what makes your life more beautiful, what needs to be removed so that you can experience more pleasure in your life. So just start preparing for that. That's a good time to kind of reflect on that around this full moon in Capricorn. So with all that being said, thank you so much for spending your time with me. Thank you for allowing me to be your guide and your messenger from the cosmos. I hope that this full moon brings you a lot of epiphanies, helps you get back on track, helps set you up for success. Remember, Saturn is Lord Karma, and he will bless you like crazy by November when he comes out of retrograde if you just do what you need to do to take responsibility and accountability in your life. And I know it can be hard, but again, find your tools, find your resources, and keep moving forward. And in the meantime, if you're needing more assistance, you can follow me on TikTok at the Relational Astrologer. Even though I'm on vacation, I'll be trying to update that page, giving you little nuggets of wisdom, help guide you through all this cosmic shifting. And if you need a copy of the 2023 Astrology Journal, it's never too late to get one because it is part interactive and part educational. So you can always go back, read what happened at the beginning of the year, fill in the journal prompts, reflect backwards. But it's also educational. So you're going to learn what to do around every new and full moon, what happens when a planet goes retrograde. So if you need a copy of this, you can still grab one. You'll find it in the description box below. If you're looking to book a reading and navigate through the rest of the year or get your first official birth chart analysis done, I'd be honored to do that. You can get on my calendar for after August 18th. So I'm sending so much love and light to you as you navigate all this energy, and I will catch you in the next video.